Michael. We're going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey, Project Runway fans, it is the night we've all been waiting for, months in the making, finale, and we've got 2 contestants from the show. One was in the finals. Stick around to see out who we have.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah, we're back again. Hey guys, it's the final week of Project Runway. They drug it out, but we're still here, still watching.
Extra lights today.
Yeah, it's a big night.
It is for Kentaro.
Yeah, for sure. Hey you guys, I'm your host, Michael Shirley, and tonight we have on the panel Hanna Tucker, who is a fashion model, and you can find her at Hanna Tucker on the Instagram, right?
Yep,
Twitter?
You got it. Same thing, yeah.
Cool. And we've got Michelle Uberreste, fashion designer and former contestant of Project Runway Under the Gun. You can find her online at Uberreste at Twitter and Instagram. And as always, the lovely Mayte Carrillo, fashion blogger and co-host of AFTERBUZZ TV's The Voice After Show. You can find Mayte at Mayte Carrillo _. Check it down at the bottom of the screen. And our 2 lovely guests from this season of Project Runway, finalist Margarita Alvarez. You can find on the Instagram at Margarita Alvarez Official, and contestant Batani-Khalfani.
Hey!
And you can find Botany at Batani-Khalfani.
At Batani-Khalfani on Instagram and everywhere else.
Don't forget it. All right, you guys, it was a wild night. We were all on pins and needles, fast-forwarding commercials, like getting super excited. Initial reactions from the panel.
Ooh, this was just an exciting finale overall. I mean, all the designers were so different that made it to the final end. It was really cool to just see them kind of own their own collection and just go out on their own instead of having to follow guidelines of just one, challenge. I thought it was really cool to see them, their true.
Yeah, we really got to see who everyone was. Totally authentic collections, and like you said, super different, all the collections, which I always feel like makes for the most fun Project Runway show.
Yeah,
what about you, Michelle?
Yeah, I agree with Hannah. I think that's a really awesome point that you brought up. They basically have to come up with their own inspirations, and you can see from, beginning to end, from concept to the finish, collection. And I think that shows more of the personality than they get to really have the opportunity to do when they're, constrained to the challenge.
Yeah. And the amount of detail that went to every single designer, and just seeing them work around their own designs and then fixing everything up for the runway, I think that was most exciting for me to watch, just because there was so much behind the scenes look, and we got a better understanding of each contestant. They gave each and every single person their deserved time. So that was actually really special, because at the end I was like, okay, I can see their personality shine through. I can see what they're talking about, and I loved it. It was a little bit of everything. And it was a shocker for me to see Brandon, not be as great, and for the judges to point that out. But it was sad, too, to see him, sob and cry.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That's always, a killer.
You don't like to see boys cry?
Maybe for me, yes. But, but no, I don't. It's such a sad thing.
Well, I think it definitely made everything, a lot harder for the judges, because everything was made well. It was more about taste and what you liked. Nothing really stood out as being oh, that's just bad clothes. It's just kind of what your preference is. So what did you think about your collection?
Yes!
I mean, echoing kind of what was said, everybody had such a unique perspective and point of view that there wasn't really a bad or a good. I think it was just what you said, a matter of taste. I loved mine because
colorful, and I just loved it. All
I knew you would like it.
Yeah, because it was colors. It was my taste and everything, my style.
I think fashion is totally an expression of oneself, and this was the perfect opportunity to say hey, this is Margarita. this is what I'm about. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me want to go buy something. Like, it was about that joy you feel when you see a piece that you're like, oh my God, I need that. Like, and that emotion was like what I wanted to convey. So it was very like a polarizing collection. Like, you either love it or you hate it.
Well, I loved it.
I loved it, yeah. So I'm really happy with how it looked. And I made sure to like dress as many plus women's plus models, jeez, that I could find. And I had 6 models over size 12, which I think I was the only one with like as many plus bodies. And all of those dresses were designed to fit anybody's shape. Like, it would fit a girl that has kind of like a rounder body or a square body, hourglass. Like, I made sure to kind of like make sure that every single piece that I made had that
appeal to any size.
Yeah, because that's what the season was all about. I feel like.
Well, I noticed Kentaro, did he have a single plus size model?
I was wondering that. I don't think I saw it.
I think he had like one or two.
I think that one on the runway with the little like the loose, you know, that maxi, the white. I think that girl.
Right.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't. Curves were hidden a little bit.
Did they require you have at least one plus size model in the show?
We were required to have two oversized 14 plus size models. So I don't know what happened there, but
okay. Interesting. Well, there was also 2 other shows you got to watch that none of us got to watch.
We got to watch Kenya and Michael.
Yeah. Can you describe their collections for us?
So Michael's was like ruffles and
Michael used feathers and rhinestones. Like, it was so luxe and beautiful. I mean, if he asks you, it's like drag queen. It was like, it was inspired by like Diana Ross and like kind of disco and, you know, glamorama. That, I mean, he can speak to it better than I can, but that was his vibe.
And Kenya's was like a soft pink with beading and
lace.
layers.
We kind of got a little look at that last week. We didn't fully get to see
Oh,
that.
it's really pretty.
It was
Luxe
beautiful.
fabrics, like beaded, pearlized fabrics. Like, she had this kind of peach sort of tone
color
that's
palette,
like very on trend for spring. So
it was beautiful.
They were fun to watch.
You were sitting in the audience.
I
Did
was.
you have a favorite?
My favorite was Ayana's. I love how I just loved, especially when Misha came out at the end.
Oh yeah.
That was amazing.
That last one. I like it when you have a bride in your runway show. I think that's always a fun way to end a show.
Yep.
Well, were you bummed that she didn't win?
Kentaro's collection was great.
Yeah.
I loved Margarita's too, like the colors and everything. It's just like, you know, Kentaro won. That's amazing.
Yeah.
In our live chat, we have Max saying, so glad, Margarita specifically, so glad that you owned your collection and Jasmine stole the runway. And then there was a question saying, what did you think of the final runways? So all together.
I loved it. I think everybody had their own perspective. It was so evident who made what. And I love that we're all super different from each other and nobody was petty or catty at all. Like, we all had each other's back. So it was definitely a pleasure to see, like, these people that now I, you know, call my friends. Like, I was super proud for everybody. Yeah. So it felt great.
Yeah.
And something we noticed, Tim wasn't there for the final judging.
That's true.
What happened?
I don't know. That was a little weird because he's always at the end.
He's always there.
Yeah, we didn't see him once that final collection went down the runway. We didn't see him again.
I don't know what happened. It's strange. There was something last week too that didn't kind of show. I don't know. I think there was some.
You think he?
What do you call that? What do you call
think
it?
he was having
disagreements?
A spat?
Some drama.
Spat with Heidi.
No.
He's not a judge, you know, so
he's
it's
a
like,
mentor, so
maybe his job was done that day.
He didn't need to be there.
Maybe.
That's weird.
That is
though.
weird. I'm
He's
thinking maybe
always
he
there.
just
And they really
wasn't-
downplayed it too. They weren't like, oh, Tim's sick or something.
No,
you know,
they
they just
didn't.
really did not bring it up at all.
I mean, he was there for the fashion show.
Well, he had a moment where he like had everyone come together, and he was like, "I'm so proud of you," and then
Such
he
a
was
dad
like
moment,
gone
yeah.
after that. But like he made sure he like told everyone they made a moment. But then now we just have to guess.
Yikes!
I don't
I'm
know.
scared.
Yeah.
We saw right before Ayana's show, she had a ruffle come off her dress, and her dress is like.
I didn't know that happened.
I was gonna ask you.
I had no idea.
Was there any other stuff behind the scene that didn't make it into the show that was super crazy on finale day?
Well, I actually had a model not show up.
Oh.
So it messed up my entire lineup. Like, nobody showed that. I don't know why that didn't show because it was huge. Like, that changed.
Usually they show things like I've seen Project Runway before. They're like, the model's not here.
You guys, that was huge. Like,
Yeah.
I basically had made all my arrangements because you have the whole day to fit and do alterations. So I did my arrangements for the model. Like, an hour and a half in, Tim walks over and he's like, we have a little snack. Your model such and such is not going to be able to show up. And like, because these are not all the same size models, and each garment is designed for all different sizes, it's not just let me grab somebody else and swap it out. Luckily for me, I designed pieces that would work on different bodies. So I had this girl wearing like a size 4 dress, but also fit a size 14 girl. So I said, they're like, we can just find some other model. I was like, find me a size 14 girl.
I was gonna
Find me a
say,
size 14 girl, and we're going to put her in that dress with that size 2 girl, and I'm going to show you guys how that dress is going to work.
I love that.
And they didn't show that. And I was like, oh my God, but that was so fun. Because I felt victorious for myself. Like,
so
that I,
smart.
like, you know, overcame that hurdle of, like, well, I had a no-show, and, like, it fit. So that was lucky.
I think they would have, like, 4...
Backup
at least like
models.
4 backup
Something.
models
Yeah.
every size.
There were, and it was more so like I have the ability to do this with my collection. Luckily, like if there was somebody else, like maybe like even Kenya said it. Like she was bummed that she couldn't fit Katie. I think was her model. The black outfit. Remember? She's like, oh, I only made this one in this size. Like it was hard. It's not like every other collection where you can just move things around and kind of. This is like, if she's not that size that you made, like, it's tough.
Yeah.
Olivia in our live chat says, if you made that bodysuit into a swimsuit, I would buy it. And then we have Jared saying, Margarita, I was rooting for you. If you make a menswear, I'd love to buy your clothes.
Oh my God, I'm so on that. Like, the cool thing about my collection is a lot of the pieces could kind of go, like that bomber jacket was specific to being like, for a guy or a girl, like didn't matter. So I'm definitely.
But Jasmine, you know what? I really wish there was like a little camera showing Lyris's face when Jasmine just like rocked down the runway and just strutted her stuff. Like I felt her vibes. I was like, ooh, she must have not liked that. Like she would have wished she would have been on her team. I mean, I feel like Lyris has such a like, I don't know. There has to be like an agreement going on that she gets to pick and choose who she wants to be a part of. Like
why?
I don't know. But that's the impression that I get. And so I'm like, she probably chose Brandon. She felt mostly comfortable. She probably thought he would have been a winner.
They assigned the models. I don't think.
I think they assigned the models.
I think they assigned the models. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I told you when Brandon lost, I felt like Lyris was gonna sue him.
Oh,
The look on her
He was
face.
like, I didn't sign up for that.
I signed up for the winning team.
and they asked her too. They were like, "So, what do you think about what you're wearing? You know, like why not ask
It's like,
all the
it's
other
the
models?"
best thing I've ever worn. I love this diaper.
Yeah. It's just because it's made out of with like Brandon made it. Whatever though. Anyways.
Well, let's get on to the runway show. We pulled some video of it. I really loved your show, Margarita, the red feather detailing. It like looked like coral kind of
Thank
to
you.
me,
That's
like
exactly.
in the ocean, kind of waving back and forth.
Girl, you
And-
got that reference. So good. That's exactly
Yeah, I
right.
really like that, and I loved your third look. That was
Thank
definitely
you.
my favorite.
I love
think
the
I
pants. I
did
love
that
the
too.
pants.
Third
This
look.
is
You're like-
Iona's. Could we get Margarita's collection first, if possible? And you were saying that you want to be like the next Oscar de la Renta, and when I saw
Carolina
that
Herrera.
collection, I
That
was like, this is totally like Oscar de la Renta.
You could see that?
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
could see it
I'm like,
for
I don't know if that
sure.
came off right. More because before I was just talking about like Latin American designers do like
Right.
print and beat it, and it's always like
No,
we're
yeah.
here. Look at
here we
me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, here's the runway show we've got popping up.
Oh, the third, that
Screen.
yellow top
Yeah.
with feathers.
Third outfit
That-
coming up
yes.
right now. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
You mean the
yeah.
Jessica Alba
love.
outfit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. As you can see, you've got so
Amazing.
much color.
Those
in this
pants, though.
collection.
Those
Yes.
pants.
I
love
want that
those.
black one.
Those pants.
Yeah,
The black skirt.
the bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super chic.
Bananas.
Those
Thank you.
are. The detail is just like incredible. You can tell you put so much work into it. Like it made it look so luxurious and
Thank you.
like so rich. I love it.
Yeah,
I
and
think
way-
the styling too was
Yes, styling.
so perfect because this
on
is
point.
honestly like a really hard collection for me to understand because it's not anything I would ever pick out, and if I saw it on the rack I'd be like but then when I see the styling I'm like, okay, I totally understand
that
this now.
woman, yeah.
I get that it's fashion and it's like the most fun thing on the runway. Like everybody else's collection is super dull color palettes. Like I was really surprised. And this is like exactly what the judges want. They want fun, they want color, they want attitude, and that's what it was.
I thought they wanted New York.
That's what I was just about to say.
I don't think they know what they want.
I know. I kind of feel that way too.
That's the thing too. That's what we brought up last week. We're like, what do you want? Like, tell us what you want. You want New York streetwear? Do you want high fashion? Like, it's just so confusing.
I think honestly, you have to sell it to them and tell them what they want. And that's part of like the styling and how, you know, you order your looks and how your models bring across that attitude. And I think it's just, you have to sell it. You have to tell them, like, you want this, and they'll be like, all right.
Brandon did not sell his collection of the
Not at all.
And he's like, I kinda, whatever, it's good. Like, it was
he was just overly confident. He was like sleeping and taking naps.
But that was also partially because the judges just like kept giving him all this praise when they should be giving constructive criticism.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Even if it's good, you can say something like, you need to improve on this, you need to improve on that. Nothing's ever perfect.
Right.
Yeah, nothing is ever perfect. And so they just kept on egging him on. It was it was
We'll
frustrating.
get to him in a second.
Yeah. I'm mad. No, I'm kidding.
Your collection was super tropical. It was called A Fish Out of Water. And it looked so expensive. Like you'd said to me earlier, you spent almost every dime. You had $40 left over. Yeah. So, like when you're mapping like those sequins and stuff, like how does that work? How many...
It's bananas. So, like, I incorporated a lot of couture techniques of beading, like old school embroideries that basically don't exist anymore. So you stretch the fabric and you use a special tool that kind of, you make like you stretch it like a canvas, like a painting, and you use the tool to kind of pull the bugle beads. They're not sequins. They're all crystals and bugle beads. So it's like heavy and richer. It's a really long process, but the way I did it, usually you have to draw on the fabric, then baste it, and then bead it. But because I designed my prints and I did sublimation, it's just like a coloring book. So it was like, I cut the middleman out. It was like, production-wise, it was like an achievement, but like obviously those things go unnoticed, so it's like whatever.
I felt like your collection and Kintaro's collection, were like a little too expensive for the JCPenney market. I was wondering, like, how are they going to price this stuff?
I mean, like, I don't know about expensive, but personally, I know they can get beading that's not as expensive done, and like they could definitely do a really great version of. I'm like, T-shirts of that print would have been so cute. Like, I think it was readily to make commercial.
Tracy Ellis Ross, she has a collection with JCPenney with the sequins too. So definitely, you know.
I know they can. It would probably wouldn't have been hand beaded bugle beads, but it probably would have been like a, you know, watered down, less expensive version. But I'm sure they could have. I'm more so concerned now with Kintaro's, that big pleated beautiful piece. I'm like, I want to see how that makes it through shipping and hanging and stuff into the store.
They got to scale it down.
I think
but
they're
honestly,
gonna have to choose a different fabric.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes, though. You need to put on a show, and then for commercial purposes, you always dumb it down. You don't want to be like, here's my JCPenney collection, and they're going to, you know, present it exactly as is. That's just never how it goes.
I think your collection was a little more wearable than his, but I'm like, I want to see the version of his collection that shows up in stores.
It's online already, actually.
Oh, yeah.
One of our Kevin says, by the way, the JCPenney collection is out right now, and it does have a little bit of like his style.
So he
implemented a little
bit. Kintaro?
So if you guys go to jcpenney.com and I assume just type in Kintaro in the search bar,
maxi skirt.
So cool. Be able to see it.
That's so cool.
Wow, that red too.
We've literally been on like checking that website like 10 minutes.
Wow. Amazing. It's pretty cool.
Well, what we were saying, how you only came back with like $40. Some of that stuff, I feel like Brandon might have come back with like $500. Like, he bought the cheapest fabrics. I felt like they were from like upholstery stores. Did that look like a...
I mean, he said he got them at a home furnishing store, so I think they were upholstered fabrics. He did a really beautiful treatment where he like bleached it and like changed the color on it.
Yeah, that was thoughtful.
But it wasn't really, you couldn't tell on the runway, it was no impact for me.
And if he won, they would have had to have like a 300-piece collection. Like, with like all the layers and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. Well, let's look at Brandon's collection. It was.
I love that first look. That look.
I love the look that Janine had on.
Yes, that one with the little backpack.
Yeah.
I thought that was super cute.
Yeah.
I loved how he used the suede to break it up. It seemed like he maybe thought of that like later in the game.
He
There
needed
was
more.
not enough. It was there. If there was that suede and like maybe a different color, 2 or 3 other pieces like that, maybe it would have changed the judges.
Yeah, I really liked the first outfit. It's the one that he previewed last week.
So good.
His collection was very fittingly titled "Layers of Love," and he only stuck with like 3 or 4 or like 4 or 5 fabrics, I guess. And
Yes.
one of them he just kind of bleached it.
It was really heavy on the flamingo couch
Yeah,
fabric.
they all just
Real
like
all of them.
blended
Yeah.
together for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Too much of the print.
Let's take a look at Brandon's show. I think we're gonna have it up in just a second. I don't know. For me, it all, like they said, everything was different, but it all blended together because,
of the print.
like, I don't even think really the styling could have helped that much. Like,
There's one thing too is like there's a lot of similar cuts. Like
is that a man?
I wanted to.
Anyways,
I wanted to see more shape because that's kind of like what this is about. And there's a lot of like baggy looking pieces.
I wrote down Grandma Gaudy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I wrote pajamas as one of my.
Pajamas?
I did.
Oh,
You know, but I find it really
man.
unfortunate because I really like his silhouettes and I feel like he's very creative with all these kind of angles and the straps and everything. But with these layers on layers of the same exact fabric, you just lose.
It looks really heavy.
Yeah.
And you lose all of the detail. So I feel like, you know.
Except for the straps.
Well, the straps were everywhere.
I feel like
Every
when you hold on with those straps, the model will just fall apart in the middle of the runway.
I mean, I think Brandon's probably like, like a really cool person.
Oh,
Yeah,
But,
it definitely is.
But yeah, it's just all the positive criticism and
It's too busy.
I feel like you only see
It
like an
would've-
art student who's like got a trust fund wearing that kind of stuff. Like I don't know, like I don't,
Yeah,
I can't really pinpoint.
But that's
the
what a lot of
person.
fashion is. It's totally unwearable. It's just, you know, for art's sake, right? So
There are certain pieces there I would wear.
Me too. If
Like
it was
if
not
pick and
flamingo.
choose. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe like a top, but that's it. I wouldn't own anything else. Like I wouldn't just get the whole set. It was too busy, and then I liked that comment Zach made, how he should have just started off kind of like an ombre color, soft, really soft tones, and then would have been like a bang, like a strong like orange,
Yeah, like
something.
more of a story to
give me,
it.
more of a story, and I feel like it just didn't have that aspect.
when he said ombre, I was like, wait, what ombre? I didn't see it at first.
Then I had
was
to
like,
look really
I was
hard,
like,
yeah.
what?
There was ombre in that?
Yeah, some of it was kind of yellow on top and then faded
Oh, I
to
didn't.
darker. I mean,
Didn't make
It's
enough
harder-
of a
it's
statement,
hard.
I guess.
It's hard to see it on like television too, because there's so many
Yeah.
details that like you guys mentioned that we don't see because it's simply because it's a television screen that's like the barrier. We can't see. All
but
those
that means
little
you can't see it
details,
on the
but-
runway either. If you're sitting in the back, you don't see a thing. And what I found too is last week when he was doing the critiques with Tim, he had kind of like, this is the darker version of the flamingo mixed with the lighter version, and you could see this contrast going on, and I didn't see that.
No,
this week,
it
and I
kind
think
of
that
all
would've
muddled
helped.
together with the lighting and everything.
Right.
It really didn't do him any favors. Botany, what did you think about, being that you've been in the whole process, what do you think that Brandon could have done to the collection that could have like made him win?
Just probably had less of the flamingo print.
You weren't a fan of that
It
flamingo?
was just too much.
Too much?
Too much.
Well, you saw it
Each and every
live.
piece,
Yeah.
each and every piece was like more flamingo and more and more.
Yeah.
Did you
Never
find
ends.
watching it was kind of overwhelming?
Yeah, definitely.
That's how it
and
looks
I
like to
think,
me.
it could have been, it could have been some different colors incorporated, like you said, an ombre or something like that, and just something different, not as much flamingo print, that's all.
Well, what do you think got in the way of it? Do you think it was his vision or his confidence? From, making these things that you would think most anyone would be like, oh, it's a little too much. I should listen to my girlfriend who hates my collections.
Who it's
like,
dedicated to.
her.
I have no idea. Maybe he just wanted to present that as a flamingo, you know.
Well, he just never really worked
yeah.
with patterns much. You worked a lot with patterns. You worked a lot with patterns. So when he did that, I was just like, is this him being different?
It's happening a lot in menswear, like, which is something that he's very well versed in. Like, you know, Craig Green and Tom Brown did all over head to toe printed looks. Like, and he said some of the designers that I love do fully printed head to toe full collections in print. So I think maybe had an influence, and because he's kind of looking at a different market. He's been looking at menswear for the whole time. I think that, you know, Heidi and Zach and Nina always look at women's wear, so that's like why they always were like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Well,
I've never seen this before. You know,
They say it just like that.
Open up a menswear magazine and you'll see some, but you know, that's probably where it comes from. It's a different like architecture to like do a men's collection, and I think it was so tight and strong, like they just a matter of taste. Again, it's like it was what they wanted.
I think also the judges just really did him a disservice because I feel like he had so much potential and they didn't give him anything to go on. So they're always like, this is great, fantastic, you're good, you're safe, you win, whatever.
Just keep doing what you've been doing.
Yeah, so he had no critique really to go on the entire season, like to push him to try new things. And I think that was just not to his benefit.
Yeah, I think all of the finalists, except for Brandon, like surprised the judges in good ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think he surprised them, and so they were just like...
I feel like the flamingo was his surprise factor, but it just didn't translate
surprise,
well.
Surprise, surprise.
There's no like standout outfits to me. Like that's what I want to see is like, you know, like the moment you had in your show and like the pieces that are just like the wow factor. I didn't, you know, there wasn't that. And I think it just translated, you know, not in the right way.
Well, it was nice to see Brandon made use of the JCPenney wall with the backpack.
He did.
And
I
the
don't know that I
shoes.
saw any other designers
All the
taking
shoes,
advantage.
too.
Did you put anything from the JCPenney wall other
Those
than
cobalt
shoes?
blue shoes
The
were
shoes,
from the JCPenney.
Are those the same shoes for you?
No, similar, but you know,
Oh.
cobalt
Like,
blue.
so-
Blue shoes are my thing, girl.
Yeah, I didn't see her closet.
All my
Those are
collection, all the
cute.
girls had cobalt blue shoes. It's like my favorite color.
Right,
That's
we saw
mine,
that
too.
everyone, it looked like it was probably the same brand. Everyone had the same pumps, right?
Yeah, we all like the same stiletto. It's a simple stiletto. It's
I
easy.
just figured they just gave you an option. Like, this is the shoe you're going to wear. You all pick the color.
No, they were like, go on chizmany.com and choose what you like, and we all showed up with the same shoe.
Oh my god,
I like
that's
it.
so fun.
And we're like the one stiletto that we love, and we're like, okay. Yeah.
All the shoes were the same, right? For every person? Or no? Were some
Brandon
of them-
bought some from ASOS, and I think Yana used some from somewhere else. But me and Kentaro got the JCPenney stiletto, the Michael Antonio something.
Well, speaking of Kentaro, we got his runway show up next. And
Kentaro.
last week, you know, when we were looking through everything, I was like, I think there's some stuff in there. And he really showed up. His collection was definitely my favorite. It was super, like, avant-garde, high fashion, like, sexy. But I wrote a gentle, crazy person. It's like the vibe I got from it.
It's like
And the soundtrack, which initially when we heard it, we're just like, oh, that's like kind of weird. Well, no, because of his story behind the song.
Oh, yeah,
And we're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh.
Language
Dead
barrier
cat,
a little bit, but yeah.
No, I think he buried a cat, listened to the ground. That's what he heard. I don't think anything was lost in that. But I don't think we really knew how that was going to translate on the runway, and it went really well. Like, super soft, super quiet. As Heidi said, you could hear a mouse fart. I would not think that would be something she would say.
I know, I
would
was
think
like,
she would say
Heidi.
like a pin drop or something.
Yeah,
I was
cricket.
like,
I was like,
no,
oh, Heidi has
Of
kids.
course,
That's
Mars. Of course she would say that.
Exactly.
But that beginning, though, that first
Yeah.
model that just stepped out, I got
Yeah.
the chills and the music and everything. I was like, oh,
I'm so happy.
my
Honestly, like
God.
he was feeling so down because of last week,
Yeah.
and like in the workroom, like you guys saw in the episode, I was like, your stuff is so good, because he was like ready to give up. He's like, I want to get rid of this, I want to get rid of the black, and I'm like, you cannot get rid of the black. Like,
Well,
you
he
have
might
to.
have owed you a big favor because you helped him do the lineup.
You did help him.
Hmm?
I knew. I was like, we all helped each
You
other.
knew
in
that
the workroom.
first.
Like,
You knew that first outfit was like the one. To
I'm
have.
like, honey, like, what are you? Hello. So yeah, Kentaro, we can split it. It's okay.
Yeah.
So,
He should give you the trip to Japan.
You know what? Like, I
need it.
He kept saying, he's like, a trip to Japan. I don't want to go to Japan. I want to go to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. He's from Japan. I'm like,
Super funny. Well, we've got his runway show up.
So
That first look is just, it was like an apron kind of deal going on, but it was just
gorgeous.
super high
Love the top.
Oh, that red dress.
Oh my gosh.
I can't with that red dress.
I love it.
And the red thing with the leather pants.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last piece was super,
killer.
Oh my
I mean, you
gosh.
couldn't wear it anywhere, but it was like really fun.
You can wear it. I can wear it somewhere.
You can wear it.
You can wear it. I don't know. It's like kind of like a Met kind of thing, like the Met, you know, like you would wear to something like that.
Heck
but
yeah.
it was so thoughtful, like his piece,
It was.
very sculptural, very crisp.
Yeah, I'm so glad he didn't make it all like too cohesive. I love that it was a little bit different. And like from the very beginning when the judges said like, "Oh, make it more cohesive," I was like, "No!" Like, you know, there's like the hints of black, you know, tulle without that. Just like he didn't need to change
I think
much.
the way that they were arranged really made a big impact too.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
What were your thoughts on the collection, Michelle? I want to hear what
Yeah,
you think.
I loved it, and I was so happy because, like, last week we were all Team Kentaro. So I'm really happy for him, and, like, we were just all rooting for him. And I think, honestly...
We were rooting for our girl, too.
Yeah, we were rooting for Margarita.
But I think his
had
was really, like, the most artistic.
Yeah.
And it came across that way. And he's kind of like, he's so funny, but I feel like he's a little demure too, you know?
For sure.
So I loved it. I wish he would have kept that dress with the tumor from last week instead of the one.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
agree
that
with
would've
that.
just
I didn't hate to see that go.
No, I just
the one he replaced it with.
I mean, we were calling it the tumor dress. I mean, come on.
you were calling it the tumor dress.
Now you're calling it the tumor dress.
No, I mean, it was just like, you went from that to that. Like, it could have been a piece that he could have just
The
taken
white
out.
nightgown was weird to me.
Yeah, that one was a throwaway
like,
piece to me.
why?
It was nothing. But everything
It's
else.
just simple.
Set the
was-
mood, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
They told the story.
Yeah, I
It
really
was-
love the black cutout top and the
Yeah.
red
Yeah.
one.
I
Yes.
didn't
You
like
don't like
that
that?
black cutout.
Please.
I was like, just wait for the wind to blow and like you could be
That's sexy.
You have air.
That's sexy.
I would wear that all the time. Yeah. Just wear like a little bandeau underneath.
I was like, those reminded me of Brandon
that's
Suede
cool.
pieces too, with the cutouts. I was like, that looks cool, like that negative space.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
I get where you guys are coming from, but next to all the other stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
No.
nah.
I gotta say though, they should have not shown his dad falling
Oh my
from
God.
the stage.
So
Literally, you guys,
Like,
the
so
internet.
rude.
That is
Yeah.
just. I went on Twitter quickly after, and there
Internet's
was like
blowing
all
up.
these memes and you know like all these tweets saying. But you know what? The majority of the people are like, you know what? You guys shouldn't have done that. Like that should have been edited.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Like
Wow.
ruined the moment for
It made
me.
me feel bad for. I mean, not that
Awful.
his dad probably was like looking for like a career in TV, but like
No,
the first
but-
time you're on TV, like that's no fun. And every time everyone rewatches the episode, like, oh, there's dad. You know, like,
Yes.
yeah. I wish they'd have made
Extremely
him like,
unprofessional.
yeah, walk back out and do it
Yeah.
again. Like,
Just
Yeah.
anything, just cut it, just don't show it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, it's
It was
rude.
not. I didn't get it.
It's
I was like, I
embarrassing.
was so not
or
necessary.
maybe they just wanted everyone to talk about it.
Of course.
Like we are now.
Maybe they're trying to distract us from something.
I have no
From
idea
Tim.
what you're talking about.
Why
Yes,
isn't
we
Tim
have-
there though? Huh?
Yeah, we kind of skirted over the whole fact that Project Runway is a Weinstein Company show.
Yep.
Sadly.
Really doubt that'll be the case next year. I'm hoping Heidi just whips up a production company and is like,
Oh,
I'm gonna
that'd
do
be
this.
so cool.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Woman power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's her show. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
like
say
her
anything.
and-
You don't need to. Well, finally, last up, we've got Ayana's collection, which... I mean, there were certain pieces that were, without a doubt, super awesome.
Yeah.
And the way she was doing the head wraps was super fun. I liked that. But very Muslim, school marm. The bride was beautiful, but...
Mm-hmm.
Very JCPenney. I thought her collection could have
Very.
fit into JCPenney the best of them because maybe I just don't think JCPenney is the most cutting edge of stuff, but oh my god, Michelle, you give me a death stare.
Because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Like, the thing I liked about Ayana was that she did this whole, like, modest look, but it wasn't expected. It didn't look like all of the rest of the, you know, modest stuff
No,
I've
we
seen.
didn't feel like it was like a trick.
But,
know,
like that's what I started liking about her this season. She came up with these, like, amazing silhouettes and details and just, you know, shiny things. And
I wanted to see some hats on her models over those hijabs.
I liked the knots, but I mean, I just think earlier, like, challenges, she had some really amazing stuff that was unexpected for the modest market. And then she brought this whole expected thing back to the finale, and I was a little bit disappointed because I feel like that's what I see out there.
That's a good point.
And I feel like she has such a different point of view, something new and fresh, and I was missing that.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed in the color palette and the patterns.
Yeah.
I think this collection would have looked like twice as expensive if she'd have gone with like solid colors that were like super rich, like burgundies and like colors that like stuff
I think
Kenya.
the story was what was her
Evolution. It was
Yeah,
Evolution. It was very reptile and foresty.
Yeah.
And
the nature.
color. Yep.
Yeah.
I love the silk, kind of that whisper gray. Misha wore it last week, and then they did a kind of
I
like
like
a
the
silk
head
job.
cover
jacket and everything
That
like
look
that.
I
was-
like that collection. What's with the fraying? Like, was it?
And I love the
she
ruffled
likes
dress
that.
with the
She
ruffles
likes
on the
that.
side.
I know I've seen Ayana stuff, and I know she likes the distressing on the denim. Like, she does like the ruffles on the sleeves and the pants. Like, it's like a way to decorate, I guess.
She kind of has that rocker vibe.
Yeah.
Which is so cool, but I feel like it got lost in translation a little bit, you know?
I was hoping to get a little harder of a collection from her.
But I did love the last look.
We
was
have up
awesome.
on the screen, you guys can
I
check
like the
out
first. I like the
a
first
little
one.
preview. The second one, oh, that was the worst.
I like that one.
Yeah, I like
the
that
fourth
one
one.
as
That
well.
one. I love the pants. The skirt over the pants.
I love that dress.
And that one. That was my favorite.
The ruffle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That
like
was the
those.
only thing that stood out to me.
I love
was
the movement of it.
dresses.
The movement of it and.
Well, I did like the silhouette of it, like with these ruffles and the high collar. I liked it. I just didn't like the pattern. Like I was just.
I like the color story. I liked her color story. How she used the, more.
Muted.
Yeah, toned down colors and everything like that.
It was.
And I liked the mixture of textures of fabric that she played with.
It was like the white mesh in the beginning, and then it went to like
I needed
To
more
each their
flavor.
own. I just wanted to see her using like the kind of colors Kenya was using in the competition, like those really like luscious jewel tones.
Yeah. Charlene in our live chat says her collection was bland and needed more flavor. Jewel tones would have been more beautiful. And then Kevin says if she had created her collection around her final piece, she would have won hands down.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's
a good point too.
Yeah, I don't think anyone, can dispute that was a total 5.
Well, it would have been cool to see that in a shorter dress or on pants or like that
like a
embellishment.
tutu.
Well, I mean, she had that cool embellishment, and I feel like she's done that before, and it's just so fierce and like.
I liked how it kind of came up into the head covering too.
I think also what cheapened it for me was that like charmeuse fabric. I feel like everything was made out of this like charmeuse, and it's just all it
Too
shows.
thin.
It's thin. It's shiny. It shows every little flaw, and it's just. It's
I don't think
really,
it looks expensive.
right.
No.
And I don't think
I
it's
think
super
I like
flattering.
that in contrast to the other fabric she had.
You know why too?
You like to mix things up, though. You can do stuff that we can't do. I could definitely see you in a couple of those dresses. I think you look pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the ruffle one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can see you in her
one.
outfits, Margarita, but I don't know.
Maybe a jacket.
Maybe that like pant, that
That's
pant one.
that gray one, I think.
You like that
one
gray
better.
one,
So
yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
The
because I'm
gray
like,
one.
I mean, for me, it's like I'm pretty monochromatic, but
Are you?
I mean, sometimes.
Miss Trouble.
Sometimes,
Oh my
sometimes.
gosh. Well, we saw our winner for tonight was Kintaro, who won a trip to Japan. He didn't even want. $100,000, a Lexus, a whole bunch of pins, and his collection is now on sale. A version of it is on sale right now at jcpenney.com if you guys want to check it out. Looking at the collection, Mayte, how close to the original did you find that it was?
Pretty close.
Pretty close?
Yes, there were certain pieces that stood out, like the skirts. That was a strong piece.
Did the fabrics
and then
look like good fabric?
I mean, I could just see them online. They kind of did. And they're pretty expensive. They were like $70, $80. So, and then the red dress that made it as a top. And so that looked pretty elegant as well.
There were some that were cheaper too, like 25,
like a pants,
35.
yeah, like some pants were cheaper, and then some just basic
what's the price
t-shirts.
point on this stuff?
I think it was, I mean, I closed out of it, but I think it was between like maybe 20, and then the highest I saw was 80. But I just, you know, kind of looked through it. Yeah,
bringing some class to JCPenney.
Yeah, I don't. That's
pretty.
Prices are pretty impressive.
I mean, but if people really love it.
I wonder how small the people making them are. Like, oh my gosh.
And there's plus size models on the website, like that they're showing that they're serving for like all these different sizes.
And it goes down the gamut of sizes too. That's good.
I have to add too. Charlene says, "I'd love to see a botany runway."
Ooh, yeah.
You didn't get to create
botany runway would
collection, did you?
Oh no.
No. But if you had, if you had,
heart attack.
Do you know what you probably would have gone with?
Oh my goodness! So of course it would have been colorful.
Yeah,
I would have a lot of flowy,
for Margarita.
a lot of flowiness, a lot of colors.
Like
it
would have been so different.
But I am releasing a collection soon. It's gonna be on my site and more stuff. So stay tuned with everything I'm doing. It's gonna
where
be
can everyone go to check out your site?
Batani-Khalfani.com.
Nice.
Relaunching in December before my birthday. My birthday's December 18th. So.
Ooh,
Yay.
How big is it? A big collection?
It's about 12 pieces.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Well, what about you, Margarita? What do you got in the works?
Well, tomorrow my website launches.
Well, tell everyone where you can go.
DesignerMargarita.com, and we'll have pre-order collection items available in the limited edition print. And this plantain dress that I wore that everybody keeps hitting me up about will be on the site too for sale. So
awesome.
What kind of pieces can we expect? Like t-shirts, or is more like
a little bit of
high?
everything.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be high-low. There'll be more because I want everybody to be able to get something. So there'll be things like headbands, t-shirts. There'll be the bomber jacket. We'll do jumpsuits. A lot of cute dresses for holiday. It's fun in the making.
And from what you said, maybe a menswear collection soon?
Yes, menswear with 2018, but yes, menswear's in the works too. I'm doing a tailored collection. That should be really fun.
Right on.
Before we get out of here, tell everyone where they can find you all on the interwebs.
Yes, find me on Instagram. I'm Margarita Alvarez Official, or Twitter, Margarita PR16, or my website, designermargarita.com.
And you can find me at Batani-Khalfani. You could type in botany and then the rest should pop up BATANIKHALFANI. My website, Batani-Khalfani.com, and Twitter, Batani-Khalfani and Batani-Khalfani.
And everyone can find you in all kinds of commercials and stuff. I saw you at a Beats by Dr. Dre.
I'm in a new commercial coming out soon. It's just a bunch of stuff. I'm in commercials.
Busy.
I mean, we're
Exciting.
a real celebrity here.
Coming up with the come up.
Yes.
Love it. Well, Mayte, tell everybody. Oh!
I'm so distracted.
She gets so into that live chat down there.
I do.
Tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere at Mayte Carrillo _.
Guys, you can find me at Uberreste on Instagram and Twitter, and my website is michelleUberreste.com.
And you can find me at Hanna Tucker.
And you can find me at Michael X Shirley. And you can catch me on Marvel TV Weekly every Mondays, 7 o'clock. And you can catch Mayte and I for a special edition of Fashion TV AMA coverage this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.